In this video tutorial, what I'd like to do is start out by filling out or showing you how to fill out the cover sheet. But actually, before we start that, what I want to do is to show you that the forms that we already pulled over from our library have actually no information in them at all. And then the reason why I'm going to do that is so that you can see. I'll open that up now. I'll just, for example, open up the listing agreement. What I want you to be able to see is the fact that the form is essentially blank. It has no information in here at all. And what we want to be able to do later on is to show you how that information gets propagated or copied to all of the other forms. So again, what I want to do is just show you that they're blank. I could pull up another one, for example, a disclosure statement. You'll see that that's blank. We can go pull this out of the way for a minute. You'll notice that this is all blank. There's no name, there's no information down here at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go back to my cover sheet. And as I've mentioned before, what I'm going to do is that in our transaction, you could be starting from either the buyer or the seller's side, but in our particular case, what's going to happen is we're listing the property. Say we really don't have a buyer yet, so we really don't know what information to put in at this point. So I'm going to go ahead down and scroll down here to the seller's information. So I'm going to start out by putting in, just for the lack of or just for the purposes of illustration, I'm going to put in the husband's side first. So I'm going to put in James M. Jones. And I'm also going to check this box right here to make sure that there's always a check mark next to his name, or an X next to his name and where he has to initial. So then from here I'm going to put in an address, 123 Main Street. Okay. And you'll notice, by the way, that there's a little drop down area right here. And if I drop this down, you'll notice that well, actually what's happening here is that it's pulling up addresses from previous properties that I had. But what I'm going to basically be able to do is I'll be able to pick for what I'm looking for here. City is Sacramento, S-A-C-A-M-E-N-T-O. State is C-A. Zip code is, I'll just make one up, 95822. County in which it's located is Sacramento. Okay. Home phone number would be 916 555 1234. Okay. Business phone number, this would be, for example, their business or where they happen to work. You could put that number in, would be 916 933 8278. Fax number, if they had one, would be like 916 933 4567. And then again, what's really important nowadays is cellular number. One of the things I want to mention too is that many times cellular numbers nowadays, you may have clients that have their area code actually coming from Los Angeles, New York, all over the country. So area codes have become more important than they have in the past, where we thought everybody that lived in Sacramento had the same area code. So I'm going to put one in here, 213 258 1234, and then the email address, which would be jones@gmail.com. So now we've seen we filled out that part of it, and I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here, and I'm going to put in the other seller's name, and again I'm going to put in Mary space V Jones. Okay, now when I click on this next box, you're going to notice that I get another thing, which is a drop-down menu. So now I can go down here and I can pull up that address rather than retyping it. Same thing with city, Sacramento. Same thing with state, California. Same thing with zip code. and county. That's not country, by the way, it's county. So it's Sacramento County. Home phone number, if it happens to be the same, I can pull that up. Same thing with business phone number. Now, if their business phone number is different, so for example, if the wife works in a different place than the husband, we could put in there like 530 555 1248. And then again, if we had a fax number, we could put that in, which would be 530 555 4567. Okay, and I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. And again, cell phones become very important nowadays. So each individual has their own cell phone. So we will put in 916 555 1234. And again, email address would be Jones M at gmail.com. So, and the last thing I want to do in all cases is I want to go ahead and make sure I check this box. That means that in both cases there's going to be an X placed next to where these people need to sign. Now what I'm going to do is, before I do anything else, I'm going to go over here and just show you, when I pull over the listing agreement, residential listing agreement, it's going to save those changes. It's going to go ahead and load that document. And so now you see that it's put Mary Jones, James Jones, Mary Jones. It's put that information in there. In other words, from that property sheet so far. Okay, notice that we don't have an address or anything in here yet for them. When we get all the way down the bottom, I want you to notice that we've actually have an X next where they're going to initial. I'm going to go down here a little bit further because this is a pretty long form. Notice that there's an X any place they have seller's initials. And I'll just keep going down all the way down to the bottom of this particular form. Let me see where this one ends. You can see right here, this is where they would sign that form. Okay, so it has, this is where the seller signs, that's their name. They put the date in there, the address. This is the address. Keep in mind, this is the address of where they are living and getting their mail and everything else. So the property address, especially if it's an investor, might be a different address. We'll cover that in another video tutorial. They're located in Sacramento, California. Their zip code, again, another X here, Mary Jones. Okay. Then this down here will be later populated, which is the real estate firm. The license, notice it's now updated to the BRE, which is the Bureau of Real Estate License. Their fax phone number. So what I want you to get out of this is to keep in mind that when you fill out the cover sheet, this information is now getting copied over to each one of the individual documents. So for example, if I go here to a seller's advisory form and I pull that up and I scroll down here, pull this information out of the way, you will notice that their name is here, that they have to fill out. Of course, the broker's empty because we haven't filled that information in yet. So the point of all of this is that it does two things. Number one is it makes your job easier because you don't have to go in here and retype the same information over and over again. The second thing that I think is really important is by you putting this information in this form, there's only one place where it is put in, and therefore it's accurate. So it's not like you know, one of the problems when we fill in forms, we put, maybe spell something like, for example, this individual's name is Jones, we spell their last name correct on all the forms except for one, or they have their address correct on some forms, but I misspelled on another one. So the point of filling it out in one place, having it go through a propagate or be copied to the other forms, also ensures that the information is accurate when you fill it out. And we'll be covering filling in the other information for the rest of this form in the next few video tutorials.